So here's the moral of the story I like to share with anyone who hears this. I thought I had locked down my trauma. I thought I had control of my trauma. I never expected my trauma to morph. I never thought it would change on me.
Yeah.
That's what blew me away was that all of a sudden, things that I thought I had controlled were now popping up and they were different. And man, it really hit me. I was
Yeah.
not like, I wish someone would have said to me, hey, you've suffered trauma. 30% of all of the things that you witness could be PTSD or trauma. 70% of what you witness, it may not impact you, but be prepared because the older you get, your trauma may change. I never
That's right. See,
thought
I never thought
trauma,
about that. Yeah.
I never thought it would change. And that's what floored me. And I was like, daggone it, I thought I had this. I thought I had this. And now here I am saying this stuff in front of my daughter. I
Yeah.
would never have said that. I would never have said that.
Yeah. I'm
So
having not leakage yet, but I'm realizing things, and I've talked about it on the show, not to keep reiterating, but just to tie into what you're saying. Moments that my kids were real little when I got into law enforcement, and I would come home, and sometimes I try to be quiet, but I don't know. You got the radio. You're not quiet. Let's just phrase that. You got boots on. You're in uniform, whatever. And I'm changing my uniform because I had gotten blood all over it from whatever I was dealing with, and I'm trying to get a fresh uniform on. And obviously, the whole house wakes up, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "It's not mine. Don't worry about it. Go back to bed. Kiss him on the head." And then I'm boom. I'm back out the door. Well, I had just rocked their world in the middle of the night, thinking, "Oh my god, is Dad hurt?" No, he's not hurt. Wait a second, why is there blood all over his uniform? What's happening? And then I was just like, and I never addressed it. And so now here we are 10 years later, and they're like, yeah, so what happened? I'm like, you were like 5. How do you remember that?
yeah,
Dad, we didn't go back to bed. We were like, what is going on out there? that is covered in, and it was like not even, I had to like rethink in my head, like, what moment are they even talking about? So it's these little moments, right? You're like, oh my God, I never gave it a second thought. And here we are, my kids are pretty, well, my son's almost 20. My daughter will be 18 next year, but, and they're like, yeah, what happened then? I was like, you remember that? Anyway, these little moments, right? So that's what I'm in the midst of,
crazy.
but I know,
Yeah,
right?
no, it's crazy. It's I think who was it? Aristotle. I think it was Aristotle who said that the negative memories are 1,000 times more powerful than the positive. And Aristotle was what was he 320 BC? So like we've always known this forever. And so what's interesting about me was I was a cop. I've trained cops for decades, and I have 2 sons who are police officers.
That's wild.
So it's weird because I've experienced every facet of law enforcement,
Yeah.
and I am a firm believer that it is easier being a cop than it is being a family member of a cop. And I never
Ooh.
knew it. I never knew it until my son became a cop because I went to my wife and I was like, man, this is killing me. This is killing me. Like, I know he works in one of the worst cities, and we taught Charlotte.
Yeah.
He works in a city where, what, 850 cops. It's a huge department, huge crime. He's getting guns off the street every night, every night. And I went to my wife and I said, this is killing me. This is killing. I wake up at 3:30 in the morning and I know what's happening at 3:30 in the morning. And I know what he's going through. I know what he's doing. I'm like, holy cow. I'm worried every moment. I'm worried about what's going on. And she said, it'll be okay. You'll get used to it. And I said, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? That I'll get used to it? And she goes, you'll get used to it. And I was like, wait a minute. Did you go through this? And she goes, yeah, I went through this. I was like, why didn't you tell me? I would have left law enforcement. I wouldn't have put you through this. This is killing me. I want him to leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've always believed, and now I believe it. I believe it's wholeheartedly that it was harder for your children than it was for you, even though you carry the trauma. I think it was harder for my wife when I was in the Marines than it was for me to be in the Marines. I think it was harder for my mother than it was for me because I always knew what I was doing. I always knew where I was. And like you, like maybe this is a little self-serving, but I think people who become cops are heroes because at some point in their life, they make a decision that they're willing to die for a complete stranger if it means doing the right thing. I mean, that's heroic. Like, it may not always feel like you're heroic and you may not always act heroically, but it's a very noble job. I mean, it's crazy. You go out every night and you put your life on the line. You know what it means. You know what it looks like. You know what it tastes like. You do it, and you do it willingly. And I think that makes you a hero, but it also gives you great control over your life.